Welcome back. A judge has ordered New York City to reinstate all city employees who were fired for not being vaccinated against COVID-19 and says they should get back pay. The city filed an appeal against that ruling on Tuesday. In 2021, officials mandated that all city employees show proof of at least one dose of the vaccine. Later in the year, a private employee mandate was issued, but artists, performers, and athletes were given an exemption. More than a dozen fired sanitation workers filed a lawsuit saying it was unfair to make an exception for one group and not another. And the judge agreed with them. The opinion released on Monday reads in part, quote, "Either there's a mandate for all or there's a mandate for none." The judge's ruling also found vaccine mandates overall to be improper, but the city's mandate will remain in place while the case works its way through the appeals court. Terry, the judge ruled against New York City, saying firing city employees was arbitrary and capricious. What exactly does that mean?
Well, it means that there was no basis for the decision to fire some and not all. I mean, essentially, it's a grounds for review, and if there is no basis for how the city made that determination, then it's arbitrary and capricious. And here what the judge is saying is, look, if everyone was let go, then that's one thing. But to just say the sanitary workers aren't the ones who are going to get paid and they're the ones who have to be let go, that's not fair. That's arbitrary. So obviously it's going to go through the appellate process. The city is appealing. We'll see what happens there, but I'm sure the city is going to try to state that they were making that decision based on the evidence they had thus far as scientific evidence is concerned. But I think they may lose.
Yeah, Stro, so the city is appealing to the highest court in New York, that what we call the Court of Appeals, deciding things for New York. But could this have federal implications with President Biden's COVID mandates?
Well, folks are certainly looking at that, right? And there would be those that would bring claims in that regard. If you look at what the Supreme Court has done in this regard, early in this year, there was a couple of decisions, one of which prevented the vaccination requirement for companies over a certain size, either vaccinate or test. But the other one was healthcare workers, where it upheld actually the requirement to vaccinate. So I think that they will certainly, people of all quarters will certainly take their shots at the Biden mandates. They probably expect a relatively friendly Supreme Court to perhaps rule in their favor. I don't know if they would rule or not rule, though, for the same reasons. Arbitrary and capricious is probably not going to happen necessarily because there's a justification for the vaccinations that have taken place. But there are other reasons, and people will take their shots for sure.
All right, we'll see how that goes, both at New York and potentially the federal level. When we come back up.